in. I wanted to pop on for a little bit and do a bit of a 11-11 reading for you guys for these new portal energies that we have coming in. I have a couple downloads for it, so I figured we will hang out and we'll kind of work our way through them and then let you guys kind of get going on your day. I hope everyone's doing well. I'm going to give it a few minutes. If any of you are catching this on the replay, I'm going to give it a few minutes, see if anyone pops in. Get our hurts together. Let's see, I think I could use a little more light. Yeah, it's not bad. Hi, how are you? Garrett, hello, hello. Coupon Wilson, Caribbean Queen. Hey guys, how are you? I hope you're doing good. I'm doing pretty good. I'm tired. I'm very tired. I almost decided not to come on live because I'm so tired today. I haven't been sleeping very well. I know you guys haven't really been sleeping well either. I've been getting a lot of emails and DMs about it. There's been so many intense energies over definitely the last 2 weeks especially, and I have just come into the realization that a lot of it was leading up to some of these like really big portal energies that we're having today. And so I think after tomorrow, what's tomorrow? Friday. So I think by Saturday through and after the eclipse, the Taurus full moon eclipse, I think the intensity of the energies are gonna start settling down for all of us, and I think that is a welcome. It looks like I'm glowing. Look at that. And I think that would be very much of a welcome energy. It is the 11/11 portal. Today is a really interesting day. It is the 11th day on the 11th month. Aquarius is the 11th sign who rules the 11th house. Aquarius is in the moon right now. Will also be in Jupiter. It happens to be Thursday, which just so happens to be Jupiter's day. And so there's like a lot of really intense energy. So if you woke up today and you weren't feeling like shiny and sparkly, that's actually really normal because of the intensity of the energy. If you actually woke up a little bit in like a kind of grumpy mood or feeling a little like agitated or irritated, all totally normal. Extra tired, right? Because no one's really sleeping right now. Just because you're unconscious doesn't mean you're getting rest, right? There's been so many intense energies in the dream world, a lot of stuff, but today is a really good opportunity to kind of sit and align your energies the best you can. A lot of people consider the 11/11 portal to be a manifestation portal. The best tip that I can sleep? Who's that? Hey Heather. The best tip that I can give for manifestation is more than affirmation, more than visualization. The most effective way to manifest or come into alignment with what it is you're seeking is to feel the feeling of having it. Not imagining that you already have it, not just affirming that it's yours, but feeling the emotion of what that is. Whether it's joy, whether it's safety, security, excitement, possibility. Try and harness that feeling. I took 11 minutes for myself this morning in meditation at 11:11. It might not be 11:11 where you are, depending on where you live. But if you feel so inclined at 11:11 this morning or 11:11 tonight, feel free to sit down for 11 minutes. I did it with a 432 hertz. That's the hertz that is preferred for me. I actually have that on the background right now if you can hear it. And I just sat down and I just kind of aligned my energies and tried to embody, right, the vibrations of what I hope to be bringing in to my life. And then after tomorrow, we're going to start feeling the effects of the eclipse energy start rolling in. And that's basically like the big surrender. Throw it up to the universe, throw it up to God, right? And just let them, you've done your work by that point. But I do have a bit of a download that I kind of want to go through with you guys today. And I have a couple decks out, so I want to go through the download and sort of walk it out and see if we can't extend the message for a little bit, right? I'm going to check the chat and see what you guys are talking about before we get started. Very good. Planet Me, hello. Hi, Sheila. Yeah, go on, girl. You go on and lurk. I like it. Your ancestors are poking you and waking you up every night. Even during the nap during the day. I have this like overbearing desire right now to take a nap, but I don't believe in naps. Because I have a Capricorn North Node, so I personally don't believe in naps. So it's like, I'm going to go live. It's like, I'm so tired, I can barely keep my eyes open. You know what will energize me? Doing some work. It's like, that will help me. That'll bring me some energy. And then I'm going to get a snack. And then I'm going to be rested for the rest of the day is my plan. But the Aquarius reading went up this morning, which was wild because I did my my schedule for the week, and I had actually intended on doing Aquarius either yesterday or tomorrow, but somehow that they just kind of, the way I ended up doing the 2 videos versus 1 video, Aquarius ended up falling on today. Perfect day for them. And the first card that had come out in the Aquarian reading was the Star card, which is Aquarius's card. So the Aquarius reading that I just did was like, it was very potent. There's a lot of potent energies in there. It's a really good one though. I enjoyed it. Heather's here. Flower Girl. Hi. Garrett. I am freaking vibing. And I'm not sure if the energy, just straight up delusion. Freaking vibing. Yeah. Who cares? Honestly, who cares of where it comes from? It's a no bones day. You know what I mean? So get cozy. German. The new moon fell on Swati. Very windy and stirring up a vata. A humor in the body. Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit of dark humor. I'm feeling a little bit of dark humor. It's like, it's that feeling of sometimes things get so intense that all you can do is just like laugh about it. You can just laugh about it. I've been talking to myself as if what I want has already happened. That's great. I love that. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Wild Wolf Woman. I saw you comment on the Aquarian reading. It was a bit of intense reading. The extended was really good too. It was very, I love any and all the reads that I do. Whenever I do readings, I always feel very like energized when I do them. But some of them just, it's the storytelling, right? Sometimes the stories are just so intriguing to me. And so I just really love that. The extended was so good. Not to toot my own horn. But it's really good. It's really good. Let's see, we'll give it a couple more seconds, see who else rolls in, and then we'll get started. And then anyone that's not here, you'll just catch it on the replay later. Yes? Yes. So I have 2 decks. I have the Tarot of Mystical Moments out. I use this deck for the Aquarian reading. They want me to have it out, so I'm keeping it out. The 4 of Cups does want to present itself, which I think very much ties into the download that I got. But I also got the Tarot of the Old Path, which I've hadn't used in a long time, but this week it's like really calling to me. I think because I always associate this with like earth energy, like Virgo energy, just very kind of grounded because of all of the intensity that we've been dealing with. I think it's really important to ground yourself, to center yourself, right? The energies have been intense. The Schumann has been spiking. The solar flares have been off the chart. So if you just like haven't been feeling right, that is really not your fault. There's been so much stuff coming up to the surface for everyone to like purge and to deal with. It's really normal. And there's a lot of shit going on in the ethers. There's like been a lot of psychic attacks. Like there's just been a lot. There's been a lot going on. So you're doing a really good job. Pat yourself on the back. Hi, Balloon. Garrett, I'm ready to watch the Aquarian reading later. I'm ready for some intensity. Oh, you're gonna get it. Oh, you're gonna get it. You're gonna like it. All right. So, woo. Tired, y'all. Cloudy day. Cloudy day. So, I've been sitting around, and I've been thinking about this 11/11 portal. And you guys who know me know that I don't like to, like, hype up astrological transits more than they need to be hyped up. I did the same thing with Lionsgate. When I did the Lionsgate reading back in August, I basically did almost like an anti-Lionsgate reading in a way. I really don't like to hype up the portals and the transits that much, but I was really curious because there was something significant about the 1111 portal. So I was like, what is it? Like, what do you have to tell me about it other than the obvious? It's a portal, it's the manifestation, it's twin flame. Like, what is it other than that? You know what I mean? Because that's like very surface level. That's the obvious stuff that comes with portal energies. And what they had shown me is that the 11s, right, they're all ones, that they represented the 4 aces in the suit of the minor arcana. The Ace of Cups, the Ace of Earth, the Ace of Swords, the Ace of Fire. And when they had shown that to me, I had realized that what this portal is bringing in more than anything else, it's an energetic reset. It's the feeling of we have about a month and a half, almost 2 months, until the beginning of the new calendar year. And this year has been particularly difficult. I found that 2019 into 2020 was highly transformative. However, I found that 2021 overall was an incredibly destructive year. In many ways, it was kind of like the year of the tower, right? It is a 5 year, 2 and 2 and 1. And with the tower, with destruction, it's used to create room, right? To build what truly serves you. And sort of this collective download that I have been getting, and it's come through in a few of the readings, has been about the 3 little pigs, right? About how, you know, one of the little pigs builds with like hay or straw, another one builds with like sticks or twigs, but the one little pig knows that he should build with bricks and builds himself a solid foundation. And so collectively I've been pulling in this message about how we've all been all of the 3 little pigs, right? Maybe even representing our kind of body, mind, and soul, right? Your integrated self, your higher self, your shadow. And so we've been through the process in 2021 of building with all of these different tools, all of these different ideas, trying to work with different energies. Is very much a year of deconstruction as well, of a lot of your spiritual beliefs, your philosophies, your ideologies, right? Heavy shadow work year, the whole kit and the whole caboodle. And so I was picking up this energy with the 4 aces, is that it was an opportunity, a clean slate, a reset in each of our elements, that each one represented an element. It's an elemental reset for you. That is what this portal is doing. And what is going along with that is also a reset or a refreshment of the mind, because collectively we are very tired. I'm actually wondering right now if a lot of the fatigue that I'm feeling right now is actually my own. It's making me wonder if I think I am. I think I'm picking up a lot of your fatigue as well. It's not just physical fatigue, right? It's emotional exhaustion, right? It's just kind of like intellectual tiredness, right? It's like when you've been reading too long and your eyes just kind of get heavy. As a collective, we're very tired. We've been put through the ringer this year, and we've learned a lot of really valuable lessons. And there is this sense that we do want to have a fresh perspective, right? On the material world, on our relationship with people, on our relationship to money, how we alchemize and work with energy, how we feel about ourselves, what opportunities are available for us, right? But it's this feeling of not being able to kind of push through all of the rubble that was necessarily, but was created throughout the rest of this year. And so I've been interpreting this 1111 portal as a reset in all of your elements, everyone being given a new set of 4 aces, 4 cups, right? Which is so funny because 4 cups, right? And in that, it's going to move the debris away so that way you can actually sit in that new energy, sit in a new emotional harmony, sit in a new relationship with the physical world around you, right? Really embody new thought processes that you've been trying to kind of anchor in, but have been having a difficult time doing so. Experience new energy, new inspiration, all that stuff that you've been wanting to do, but you haven't had the energy or the enthusiasm to do either. Does that make sense? Because that's how I've been pulling it in. And typically, when you look at an 11 and 11 put together, that usually indicates the 4 of Wands card. The 4 of Wands talks about foundations. It also talks about a unity and a harmony, right? A coming together of 2 different things for celebration. And so I think if you've been really struggling this year, as I know many of you have, and you felt as though you've been doing the best you can, and you've been doing what's been being asked of you, and you've been kind of fighting the good fight out here. It feels like what this portal is doing is allowing us a clean slate across the board to really get to like touch and hold and feel these new energies that we've been trying so deeply to make contact with, right? So that way, when the new calendar year starts, we're already in the Four of Wands. We already have the foundation set up across all of the elements that we embody and all of the elements that we live amongst, right? And we're building with bricks now. And I think some of this celebratory energy of the Four of Wands that I'm pulling in has to do with a successful recognition and celebration of who you've become, of what you've been able to overcome, how you've been able to evolve over the last year, despite being in so many circumstances that were not built for you to thrive, right? In many ways, feeling as though you were like a rose trying to grow through concrete. And that is a very profound thing. So I also, underneath all of that, feel this very sweet energy of self-realization and self-compassion that I think is so desperately needed, because I know a lot of us have been really hard on ourselves for maybe not seeing progress in certain areas that you've really been wanting to see, right? And so part of the gift, because aces are always gifts and they're only and always given by the divine, that part of that is a gift of pride, is a gift of self-realization, a gift of self-appreciation, to see yourself with new eyes. Yes? Yes. Let me see what you guys are saying. 8-8, yeah. You might be seeing a lot of 8s and 8s. When I see 8s, I see it as a very karmic energy, getting on new karmic timelines, right? And a karmic cycle and a timeline is the same exact thing. Hi, Everlong. Hi, Jillian. Wish 13. Hi. Hi, Kirsty. Evening Sky. Look. The gang's all here, y'all. Almost all the gang. Almost. Not everyone, but almost. You guys are so sweet. It like warms my heart how kind you are to each other. It really does. I'm very proud of that. Hi, TV. So, what I want to do for this read, is I basically want, we have one of these cards up, but I want to pull a couple general cards, and then I want to actually look at all of the aces, and I want to see what they have to tell us. I don't want to just presume. I don't want to presume, right? So I want the aces to tell me, to tell us what they intend to do for us, with this portal energy. And like I said, I think after tomorrow, so come Saturday the 13th, I think we're going to start pulling in the kind of full moon eclipse energies. And so whatever kind of rituals you like to do, again, your manifestation techniques, embodying the feelings that you want, maybe some of the energies that will come out in this reading that we're going to do. After tomorrow, do them today, do them tomorrow, but after that, classic, just surrender it, release it, allow the full moon, allow the eclipse energies to kind of bring up any of the rest of that rubble, right? It's the same way that I explained the Schumann resonance. When we get a big solar flare or a big spike in the Schumann, basically power washing all the debris, let it come up. You feel angry, let yourself be angry. If you feel sad, if you feel whatever you feel, allow it to rise, allow it to be present as a friend, and then allow it to go. When you stifle it, it stays. So allow it to come up and allow it to make room, right? When one of the last lots videos that I've done, and the lots for me is a project that I've been wanting to get back to, but I haven't had the energy, right? And what we were talking about was sometimes you have to empty the cup, you have to empty the vessel so it can be refilled. Yes? So if come Saturday, come this weekend, up until the full moon eclipse, you start feeling a heavy rise of emotions. Again, really normal. Allow it to come up, greet it as a friend, allow it to pass, because you're creating room in your new aces, right? Does that make sense? So, I would like to pray, and then we'll We have this one card from the Tarot of Mystical Moments, and we'll take a closer look at her, and then we'll pull a couple more general cards, and then, like I said, I want to explore the aces today and see what the aces have to tell us. Father God, thank you for bringing me and everyone in for this portal reading. I ask that you give me wisdom, clarity, and discernment to deliver these messages accurately for everyone's highest of love, light, alignment, and assignment. We praise you, we love you, we thank you always. We give you all the glory and the honor for these messages. To the utmost high, in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen, y'all. So, oh, Lord in heaven. All right, there's a lot of fours. That makes sense. So, my ears ringing. So the Four of Cups, this came out in the pre-shuffle and it came out again. So traditionally when we look at the Four of Cups, what we're really talking about is times when we are feeling a little melancholy, feeling a little sad, a little worn down, right? And how there may be opportunities being presented to us that we may not be recognizing. The way it comes through today is a little bit of that missed opportunity. Now I'm wondering if what we feel as though we have missed are really opportunities, or if we're missing the idea that there should have been an opportunity, that there should have been more breakthrough, there should have been more development in certain areas throughout your life, right? And then what it feels like is a new opportunity is being presented to and through via the aces to make up for that. I do notice there's a little bit of this goose here holding this umbrella, kind of trying to protect you from the elements. And if you notice the character on this card, it is a female, right? The receptive thing. And so it does bring that very cliche sort of affirmation of sometimes life's rejection really is God's protection. And so maybe it's possible that some of those opportunities that you feel as though you missed or just did not come in for you this year at the right time, that actually might have been a form of protection for you because of certain energies, densities. Maybe they were attached to old timelines that were on their way out, right? And to not sit present in that disappointment, but instead to look up, right? It's the idea of just needing to look up a little bit. And you'll notice that there's something else there for you, because this Four of Pentacles is coming out next, right? And I always look at this card as like an estate. It's like this very elegant woman kind of being represented, the foundation, the base of this kind of very elegant house. And there are all of these little keypads on the fence, right? So it's this idea of like VIP access. It's something that sort of like a stock or a savings account. It has increased with value. And while you may have been blocked off or delayed from it throughout the course of this year, if you looked up, you would see that it's still available. And if anything, that goal, that ambition, that manifestation, whatever it is for you, even these different aspects of yourself, that they have actually increased in value. This was a theme that had come up in the Aquarius weekly reading that I just did earlier about how the Aquarians were really wanting to access that King of Wands energy, but by the end, what they were actually being given was the Emperor energy. It's the upgraded energy, right? And so it's something to consider for yourself. The Magician. What did I say? What did I say? I love it. This is very much of that Gemini energy. It's needing to be able to see both sides of the coin, right? Not just what these situations did to you, how they made you feel, ways in which they may have discouraged you or worn you out, but also in many ways how they built up a level of faith, a level of commitment, a level of resiliency that you can't buy, right? And so I think these are really important things to think about and things to remember, because when you are being presented with an ace, you're also being presented with a second chance to do things, embody energies, move about, behave in a way that is more constructive than what you were able to do before. When you know better, you can do better. And this whole year, again, it's a number 5 year. We've been changing what we know so that way we can change what we do. So I actually want to Ace of Swords. Look, Ace of Swords right on the split. So I'm not wrong. So I actually want to find the aces in my deck. And then I probably should have done this before, but it's a little impromptu. It's a little impromptu live. And then I want to let them speak to us. Ace of Cups. What you guys doing? Amen, y'all. Kirsten. Hi, Kirsten. So what are you guys doing while I find these aces? What are you guys doing for the 11/11. Are you doing anything special, or are you treating it like a regular day? Do you have a ritual? Do you have a manifestation technique? What you doing? Tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I wanna. Ace of Pentacles. Ace of Rods. You're writing a song. You're deflecting, evening sky. Good for you. I went to my son's Veterans Day performance. I'm a veteran. Oh, happy Veterans Day, Jamie. Thank you and your son for your service. And reflecting, deflecting and reflecting. I like that. You know what they just showed me, evening sky? The little reflector lights they put on a bicycle. That's what they just showed me. Kind of like E.T. That's what they just showed me for you, E.T. The little reflectors on the bicycle, kind of like to the moon, Alice. That's really cool. We'll do a salt bath and a guided meditation later. Agitated mood today, so laying low. Yeah, I said that earlier. If you're feeling kind of agitated, it's totally normal. I woke up and I was feeling a little like, arr. So I'm just kind of working through it. I've been working through it too. I've been putting on a lot of, if you, and I've told you guys this before, but on my channel, if you go on my playlist, in the playlist meditation, I have it's like those series of the Bach classical music meditation playlists. And there's like 111 hertz, 432 hertz, delta, gamma, theta, all the different waves. Those are really good if you're feeling a little irritated, if you're feeling a little overstimulated too. Because what part of the irritation energy that a lot of you may be feeling, it's overstimulation because of the intensity. Again, solar flares, Schumann's been off the hook. All of this Aquarian energy, right? And if you're also not air dominant, all of that may really kind of stir you up. And don't forget, we're still in Scorpio season, right? So if you feel a little moody, a little broody, you're very on brand for the season. Hey, I saw 11/11 on Aqua reading later in the day at lunch. Now I'm here. You manifested me. US and I arrived. Getting my staff stoked for upcoming projects. And just taking an evening to reset. That's great. I'm so proud of you guys. I'm so proud of you. You're doing such a good job. All right, so I have my aces laid out. I have my Ace of Pentacles, my Ace of Cups, my Ace of Rods, and my Ace of Swords. That is how I set up my elements. That's how I set my elements up into my decks. That's how I set my elements up into my spreads. I do them like planting. You put it in the soil, you water it, you let the sun hit it, you use your sword to harvest, right? That's how I do it. So, like I said, I want the aces to speak to us. I don't want to tell them or just assume what they are. So, the Ace of Cups in particular feels extra relevant because I think it's indicating a lot of healing for us, a lot of safety within vulnerability for us, being open to deep connections, being open to healing. I feel resistance to healing as well. Time disoriented. Karma. All right. But we are going to start at the Ace of Pentacles. Great. Pull a little 3-carder for each. Oh, maybe 4. Wow. This is amazing. Do you want me to take all of these for this? No, you want me to go like this. I see. I see what you're doing. Okay. So, first thing out for the Ace of Pentacles is we have the Karma card, which is truly the Judgment card, right? And so this is a really interesting thing. I actually had a dream the other morning where I woke up, and one of the things that I heard when I woke up was you have to work through this karma. You have to work through this karma. And some of this has to do with this judgment energy, the ways in which we have been bogged down by the material realm. Hi, Amber. Hi, girl. It's ways in which we've been bogged down by physical restrictions, right? Whether that be quarantines, whether that be being stuck at home, a lack of mobility and travel, a lack of finances, right? Feeling as though you don't totally have the resources that you may need. That's been a real struggle for a lot of us, no matter where you are and no matter what you do. There also is a sense of also not being aware and kind enough to ourselves that we have been living through a global pandemic. Do you know what I mean? And so there is something about that that I think we have to be cognizant of in terms of being gentle with ourselves. But you know, oftentimes we can fall into these modes of control, right, where we end up digging our hole a little bit deeper. We end up creating more stagnancy and more resistance when we kind of fight against sort of the natural barriers that are being put on us. And I feel like part of this karma and part of this judgment energy has very much been about, are you still going to be committed to building even if it looks like you're not building well? Are you still going to be committed to seeing things through, to physically showing up, putting in the effort, putting in the energy, building that groundwork, right? 3 little pigs building up that house, even if it looks like in the natural nothing is happening? Are you going to believe with this rabbit in the fertility and the multiplication of your efforts, right? Now, I think this also has to relate to traditionally karma, because there may be times in the past where many of you just gave up on things. It wasn't going well. It didn't look right. It wasn't happening in the timing that you wanted. But this time it felt different this year, I'm sure. This was the year that you were going, any time that I experienced this in the past, after 3 months, 6 months, a year, I was out. I was done. I moved on to a different path. But you had to stay committed to this path. And that was a way of working through karma. Times in which you did miss opportunities because you weren't committed enough to what you were told. You weren't committed enough to what you really wanted. You allowed yourself to compromise, right? And so I think that this is really interesting. And I think that part of what this 1111 portal energy is doing, part of what this Ace of Pentacles is doing for you, is giving you a chance to kind of reap the positive karma from your commitment, from you investing in yourself as a higher priority more than incurring physical resources, realizing that your real richness is a richness of spirit. Your best resources are ones that don't go in your bank account. They're ones that fill up your being, right? Like kindness, like your intuition, like your ability to have faith, like your ability to stay committed to yourself and your path, right? Even if it doesn't look like other people understand it, even if it looks like other people aren't supporting you, that you are building strong and deep roots within your own core. This is about character. This is about integrity in many ways. And I think that many of you have matured past a level that you ever thought you would get to. And it's a spiritual, it's an emotional maturity, right? Loon. You have your Harry Potter blanket. So now as we move over to this Ace of Cups, like I was saying, it does feel like there's this deep healing that has been needed. And a lot of it has to do with weariness, right? There's almost this feeling of dehydration that many of you have kind of given all that you have had to give in many ways. And so I see this Ace of Cups as being a bit of a refresher. And I love it that it's coming out with this 6 of Wands. The 6 of Wands, it is Jupiter energy. Aquarius is in Jupiter. It is Thursday. It is Jupiter day, right? And the 6 of Wands, it talks about expansion. It talks about success. It talks about recognition. Part of this spiritual and emotional maturity, a part of this reset energy, the second chance energy of this Ace of Cups, is being able to recognize now when you need help and when you need healing, and not pretending like you don't anymore. It's not fighting against that process. When you see that you're having an issue with your heart, when you're having an issue with being vulnerable, right? And you don't want to reach out to anyone, and you don't want to ask the divine for help. You're not looking for anyone to intercede on your behalf. This is something that you are now successfully overcoming, because it's not worth the struggle to do it on your own anymore. And so with this gift, with this portal, with this new Ace of Cups, it's the ability to successfully recognize where you have weaknesses, where you need a healing to get forward into the next level, and allowing that to come and fully receiving it with your feminine energy. There's a humbling that's required here to go, I'm struggling and I need help. I'm hurting and I don't know what to do with it. And to express that to God, to your friends, to your therapist, and allow yourself to receive it. That expands you. It humbles you, right? But it expands you. And in that, there's good fortune of that. This is good health, good emotional health. Again, it is a refresher. These are gifts of resetting all of the elements, resetting your material, your physical life, as well as your abundance, right? Because you worked off that karma. This is a reset of your emotional body, of your ability to have other people pour into your cup, your ability to successfully recognize where you haven't had strong enough boundaries and it's eroded your foundation. Your ability to not just know intellectually that connections are important and you need friends and love is good, but to also give yourself permission to want it too. And not tell yourself, no, I don't want it. No, it's fine. Like, no, it's cool. I'm good on my own. And realizing, yeah, you're okay on your own, but you're better with the right people around you. That's important. And there's also an energy coming in here that part of this gifting is being able to successfully recognize your people, not making excuses for people that are not your people, because loneliness or desperation is your matchmaker. It's allowing you to pull in soul tribe that really aren't for you. This is you being able to successfully pull in emotional partners, whether romantic or platonic, communal, professional, that also successfully recognize you for who you are in your fullness, that you don't have to perform for them, you don't have to play small for them. You can just be. And likewise, you can successfully recognize other people, support them in their expansion. This isn't I'm trying to make you who I want you to be. It's not what you're doing. You're not turning red flags into yellow flags into green flags. You are allowing yourself to be aligned to people that are also healing, that are also able to consciously hold space for you, that are able to fill up their own cup so they're not overtaking from yours, and vice versa. So that way you don't fall into codependent behaviors, trauma bonding. This is healing that you knew that you needed, and there may have been times throughout the year where you did not allow yourself to have it because you wouldn't admit to yourself that you were still hurt or wounded in those areas. And so, because you have worked through that, but the energy around you, the rubble has just been so heavy, you haven't quite been able to peek your head out of water, right? Or, you haven't been able to peek your head above the water, get it above ground. You are being gifted this. They're showing me an image of when you're digging. This came up in someone's reading. I think it was Capricorns. When you're digging in the ground and you dig deep enough that finally you hit water. Like finally you hit a spring, right? And it takes a long time. You have to dig for a while. And so I think some of you may have been feeling within your personal healing journeys that you've just been digging a hole that you can't get yourself out of. Digging a hole out of. And so I'm going to move on for that because that comment really distracted me. But what you've been doing, thank you. But what you've been doing is, never mind. I'm going to move on. That comment really distracted me. So I'm actually going to get another one for the cups. Yeah, 5 of Pentacles. That's what I thought. The more you've been working on your healing journey, the more it felt like you were destitute. The more it felt like you were alone. Feeling as though somehow you were trying to dig your way to the other side, but just ended up like more in the dark. Whereas this Leo Jupiter energy is finally bringing the light for you to actually see that what you've been digging has been to the other side. And it is going to be a reset for you. And a lot of this, and the most important thing, this obviously has to do with your connections with other people. But what it more so has to do is, and this is part of self-nurturing, this is part of self-care, and it ties in completely to your karmic relationship with yourself, investing in yourself, nurturing yourself, taking care of yourself. That when there is a problem, that when you're feeling an emotion, again, you're not stifling it, you are addressing it, you are seeking help where you need it. Whether it is from a spiritual, a psychological, a communal counselor, an aide, a friend, wherever it is that you need it. A lot of you guys this year decided that, you know what? I need therapy. I need more therapy than I need tarot readings. And you had to admit that. And maybe it was humbling, but you did it and you invested in it. And so all of those times when you felt like the more you healed, the lonelier you were, part of what this portal energy is doing, it's giving you the gift of being able to reap the fruits of that emotional labor that you put into this process. Now, what I'm really liking is this Wands energy, this fire energy. You have the Emperor coming out. It is a fire card. This is Aries energy. This is a promotion. This is an upgrade from where you have been. This is not just being given a gift, an energetic reset, the lights coming back on for you, your energy coming back after a long time of feeling incredibly waned and worn out. But this is also knowing what to do with it. This is taking an excess of energy and excess of ideas, of inspiration, stimulation, and knowing exactly how to channel it. Kings take their kingdom through physicality, but the Emperor combines that with intellect. This is chess, not checkers, right? And so I think there have been times in the past where a lot of us have had some energy come in, a second wind, some inspiration, started things, and then very quickly burned out on them, right? And a lot of that had to do with this red butterfly, which is very representative of the transformation needed within the root chakra, things that you are grounded, rooted in, stuck to, right? Very much like this karma card that we had with this Ace of Pentacles, right? Which maybe might have been the thing to pressurize you guys enough to admit that you needed some kind of emotional help, that you had to ask others for support, that you had to allow yourself to lean on others and not do everything by yourself as if you live on an island. And because you've learned these things about yourself, what it actually takes in practice to be a well-rounded and a well-harmonized individual, more than just the theoretical, right? You have now learned divine strategy. That as these new energies come in, your passions reawaken. Again, I was saying it before, there are a lot of things that you've been wanting to do over the last few months that you just haven't had the energy. When all of those circuits start coming back online, you're going to know how to do them without burning out, because again, now you know how to establish boundaries and limits on your own energy, on your time, with other people, with yourself as well. And I love that instead of a scepter, he actually has a big lollipop. And I really like that, because it's this idea of play, that one cannot be all work and no play, and that your work can be play and your work can be fun. And when you're putting fun and emotion, right, and investment into the things that you're working on, they reap you a better harvest. If you look at a plant, they've done studies. If someone speaks really positively to a plant, right, it grows abundantly. But they'll take another plant in a controlled study and they'll speak to the plant very harshly and it will wilt, right? And so this is in many ways you realizing that when you approach your goals, when you approach work, when you approach anything in your life with passion, with fun, with a light on inside of you, and you speak kindly to it, again, this magician energy, right? That you increase the quality of it, right? It's that upgraded energy, that the stock on that thing rises. So by the time you finally get to experience it in the physical, when that comes into full abundance, when it comes into full harvest or fruition, you know what to do with it. You're not drowning under the weight of a blessing, right? This is something that had come up a few readings ago, and I was talking about how we're all very used to kind of catching fire in your hands, right? Going through a lot of challenges, but a lot of us really aren't accustomed to dealing with flow, dealing with fun, dealing with ease, right? It's just kind of the nature of the game, and we're being asked to experience the other side of the pendulum, but we can't do that unless we can first feel and touch and experience that energy without the rubble of the past. And that's a lot of what these aces are doing. But a message that had come out in one of the other readings I had done, it was about weight. It was about how, why are things so hard? Why are things so difficult? Why are things so heavy all of the time? And it reminded me of the scene from Game of Thrones where Arya is first learning to handle a sword, right? She's in her sword class, or her dancing classes as she calls them. And the instructor throws her this sword and she goes, "This is heavy. It's too heavy." And he goes, "It's as heavy as it needs to make you strong." Because it's just as easy to buckle under a promise. It's just as easy to buckle under a blessing that it is to buckle under an opposition or a challenge. And so a lot of you are kind of realizing that all of these delays, all of the time that you were being very tired, that you were exhausted, or you feel like you weren't making any progress, what you were really doing is you were basically doing energetic push-ups, that in order to expand, right, Jupiter energy, in order to expand, you must first contract. And so you've been going through this process, and in that contraction, you've been learning more about yourself, more about what you need, how to properly build things. You've been realigning your perspectives and your ideologies, right? A lot of you have deconstructed a lot of aspects of your faith, of your spiritual belief systems. A lot of you guys were aligned with a lot of spiritual truths or teachings a year and a half ago that you are not aligned with anymore. You've allowed yourself to evolve in new ways, even if it is in a different direction than other people within your family, your job, your industry, your spiritual community. The Emperor is a sovereign. Literally, he is a sovereign, right? And because of that, he knows what to do with his energy, what he wants to invest it in, what projects are going to be the best for him and for the highest good of others. This is knowing how to handle the energy, not feeling smothered by it, not feeling stifled, not feeling overstimulated, right? This is chess, not checkers. And it's one of the gifts that's being brought in through the new energy of this Ace of Wands that's coming in. Again, it's a full elemental reset. Resetting all of your spheres, right? Which is all of your directions. Your north, your south, your east, your west. And then I get excited, I didn't have boundaries. Boundaries are not something that come natural when you've never been taught them. You know what I mean? That's something that's important to remember about boundaries, is that no one ever teaches you how to do it. Think about when you're little and someone takes your stuff or someone does something, right? And maybe you hit them or you get mad and you go, no, that's mine. And what do people tell you? No, that's not nice. Don't do that. You have to share, like all of these things, right? And some of that is true. Sometimes, you should be your brother's keeper. You should be generous with others, all of that stuff. But from the time that you were very young, when it felt as though you were being forced to do something you didn't want to do, someone was taking something from you without asking, you were told that you had to give it to them. You had to share. And so it's no wonder that we have generations of people that don't understand what a healthy boundary is because when you were little and you said no, people told you that you weren't allowed to do that. That's why setting boundaries feels so uncomfortable for so many of us, right? Or if you set a boundary, you feel selfish when it's not, right? And part of that is the inner child inside of you going, no, don't touch my stuff. That's mine. But it's the adult in you going, no, that's my heart. Don't stomp on it. No, that's my time. You can't just abuse it. No, that's my energy. You can't just siphon it from me. Absolutely not. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. That's how I relate to boundaries. It's a big learning curve to accept spiritual work and healing on myself is as productive and rewarding as current outside work. Absolutely. It's very hard. It's absolutely difficult. And a lot of it is because of the societies that we grow up in. You know what I mean? In heavily industrialized and capitalistic societies, we're always in work mode, right? I have a Capricorn North Node. I'm always in work mode. And so I've always had to, it's always been a struggle for me to this day. It's always been a struggle for me to separate my productivity from my work and redefining what productive or proactive is for you. Sometimes rest is the most productive thing that you can do. Sometimes allowing yourself to sit and feel all of your feelings, that is the most proactive thing that you can do for yourself, right? And it's important to be able to redefine terms for yourself in a way that feels right. Sometimes eating an entire pizza and watching a movie is the most productive and proactive thing you can do for your mental health, right? The most important thing is your mental health. Thank you, Evening Sky. You're very sweet. I appreciate you. Green Goddess, hello. Ariel's in the house. Hi, Paquita. Hello. All right, and now we have this Ace of Swords. The Ace of Cups and the Ace of Swords feel like the two most important gifts that we're being given. An emotional reset and cleansing to experience our emotions in a new way, understand our emotions in a new way, and also the quality of our thoughts, right? Because those, and the reason they're most significant is they directly impact our energy levels and our ability to produce what we see in our physical life. That is why they are the most important. Now, the Ace of Swords is coming out, the last and final gift of this portal, and it's being given and gifted with the Two of Cups, right? With harmonization, with connection. This is also being able to kind of synchronize your passive aspects and your active assets and aspects as well, right? There is something about that, being able to appreciate both sectors of you, your ability to rest and flow and surrender, and your ability to go and to do. Again, it's very much embodied in this Emperor. It's the flowing, intuitive intellectualism, but it's also the proactive, action-oriented, productive part of you as well, and that they both need to have kind of equal airtime. Part of this also has to do with your thoughts, your opinions, the way you see connections, the way you see other people, your willingness to connect with others, not seeing others as a threat. Again, very similar to that Ace of Cups, being able to recognize, like, who are your people? And if it's not a lot, then that's okay. But also being able to recognize who is not your people, but also still being able to recognize and have compassion that they are just an aspect of creation, much like you are. So it becomes less of an us and them, and it becomes more of a preference of time and investment, right? There is something really important about that. I'd like to get another for that. The Eight of Rods. Also, the way that we communicate, and the way that we move towards other people. There seems to be something about, like, kind of like a revolution of how we build connections. Again, it's the analogy or the parable of the three little pigs that seems to be coming back in again. That, you know, previously in the past, maybe throughout the last year, some of the disappointments that happened throughout the last year are kind of remaking mistakes, lessons that you thought you had already learned, right? But again, practice kind of makes perfect. And so there seems to be something about the way we move towards people, the way we build those connections. The Eight of Rods is also represented by a bunch of broomsticks. Broomsticks, obviously, what do? They cleanse, they clear. So not only is this about making connections, but this is also about times when you fall out of resonance with people and realizing, again, through this clear perspective, that it doesn't always have to be a big catastrophic bridge burning situations. If you have to burn a bridge, it's because you don't trust yourself not to walk back over it. Greatness doesn't have to burn bridges, right? So there is a level of diplomacy here. At the top of this Ace of Swords, part of this gift of new sight and new clarity, right? There's a ring on top of it, which for me is always very symbolic of commitment. There is a moon on top of this, right? Which is that hidden aspect that we're not always aware of. And this is you kind of reflecting through this portal, realizing ways in which you had aligned or committed yourself to certain ideologies because maybe it seemed like there was some kind of benefit to them, but they weren't really serving you. They weren't really bringing you into harmony with other people. There are a lot of ideologies within spiritual communities, within the world, that make it seem like it's all love and it's all light and it's all good, but really what it does is it promotes separation. What it does is it takes you out of your humanness. It doesn't give you room for error, right? You're just walking around in your meat suit, and that's not the way life is, right? Again, that's not a grounded and a practical perspective. And so for many of you, you started out the new year very kind of high vibe, rolling around in the ethers without any form of grounded practical perspective. And that was part of this karma that you had to work out, which is why karma, which is traditionally the judgment card, you had to make new judgments, right? You had to be presented new information and decide what to do with it. And a lot of that was you physically being a little bit more proactive and being able to push through situations that may have seemed hopeless. For many of you, this was you realizing that you actually did need to allow yourself to be vulnerable enough to ask other people for support, for help, ask the divine for a healing where need be, right? This is you guys realizing that you may not have had the energetic resources that you needed. And so instead of just doing nothing, what you decided to do was turn energy in on yourself to fill up your own battery. And in the meantime, if you weren't able to put that physical action forward, you were able to build your intellect through learning new philosophies, learning new things about yourself, learning different ways in which energy or spirituality and balancing them with practical aspects can work in your life too. How to maintain a connection with other people, to maintain the harmony of all of your energies, right? And how they all need to be a part of this process that is cleansing and enriching. Spirituality, a soul's journey, is supposed to enrich your life. It's supposed to enhance the quality of your thoughts, the reach of your consciousness. And so there is this aspect of realizing, again, aces are gifts, but aces are also beginnings. So in many ways, this elemental reset for you, in many ways, this gift of a second chance is to do it without the excess spiritual beliefs and ideologies that are confusing you and weighing you down. The excess energy, ideas, projects, stimulation, and not knowing how to channel those energies. An excess of emotions that you refuse to process, acknowledge, seek help for. An excess of opportunities in front of you to prove commitment, to keep building, to build firm foundations and not give up on them just because they're not where you want them to be at that moment. An ace is pure, raw energy. It's like a stem cell. It can become anything. You could take these aces and you could turn them into coal. You could turn them into garbage because you've been given aces before in the past and you blew them. I blew them in many aspects. However, that is why we go through these cycles. That is why sometimes a delay or a rejection is really a protection. So that way, in many ways, they're practice. So that way, when these real aces come in, you are fully prepared. You will not buckle underneath a blessing. You will not buckle underneath raw energy. You, like the magician, like a raw alchemist, you will form it like clay on the potter's wheel, just as you, throughout this last very chaotic and very challenging year, have been like clay, formed on your creator's potter wheel. You have been molded, and now you are being given a clean slate, raw energy to mold, now that you are wise enough to know what shape you need it in. Does that make sense? Look at me, I'm preaching today. I didn't even mean to start preaching. The magician at the bottom! You can't make this shit up. You can't make it up. Look at that! With the chariot card. Quick. So like I said, today and tomorrow are really good days for, again, embodying these energies. I know typically when people look at portal energies, Lionsgate, when people look at 1111, they automatically think manifestation, twin flames, it's always this high adrenaline energy. But I think that the energy around us is very overstimulated, which is why a lot of you feel cranky today. And so the opposite approach, which is something that came up in Capricorn's reading, which Ariel kindly reminded me of yesterday, is to approach it with the opposite, with a softness, right? That it's not this supersonic, hypnotic, funky, fresh, through the portal, duck and cover sort of thing. No. What it's doing is each of these 11s are representing a new ace. New perspectives and clarity. New energy and ideas. New opportunities to experience your emotions, experience healings. New opportunities to build in the physical. To do it right. What's that song? Baby, you can do it. Take your time. Do it right. You can do it, baby. Do it tonight. Yes, that's what that song is. How funny is that? I love that. That's real fun. I really enjoy that. That's great. You had 2 magicians come out too. That's absolutely fabulous. But that for me is how I'm interpreting this 1111 portal for you, is that each of those ones represents a brand new ace, and that ace represents an element, an aspect of your life that you are being given a reset. That song is a Bob Garrett, right? You're being given an energetic reset where that rubble that you've been trying to dig your way out of, right, throughout most of this year, especially the last 2 months, but most of this year, it's finally getting pushed to the side so you can embody just this pure, raw energy, a full element, right? What's the fifth element? It's spirit, to have all of them that you need, so that way you can really create these changes that you want to see, because now you're combining intelligence, spiritual ability, experience, and wisdom all together with the guidance all together, right? Another Game of Thrones. What's stronger? 5 or 1? It's 1, right? And so I think that for me is how I'm interpreting these energies. It's an elemental reset. You are being given 4 new aces as a gift from the divine for the hard work that you have been through. And in that, you have the ability to manifest if that's what you want. But as I said in the beginning, you can affirm, you can actualize, you can visualize. But for me, I have found the most effective way to manifest. And when I say manifest, I mean coming in to an energetic alignment with what was already promised to you by your creator, however you define that. When I see someone say, I'm going to manifest, I think you are trying to agree with what God said he wanted to do for you. That's me though, right? But this is a powerful time for you to do that, to sit with just those raw energies. Again, I think the most effective way to manifest is through a feeling. What does energized and inspired feel like for you? What does harmony and healing feel like for you? What does security and abundance feel like for you? What does clarity and perspective and right judgment feel like for you? Embody the raw energy today, tonight, tomorrow. And then surrender it and carry forward and let the divine, let the universe, let them match it. They match energy, right? Allow them to match it in the physical for you. Very good? Very good. So that's pretty much what I have for you guys. We could sit on here for another minute or so. Little chit chat. Let me know how you guys feel. And then I'll send you on your way. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But I just wanted to come on here and just do that for you guys. As I was saying, I too feel a little cranky today. I also feel very tired today. I feel very tired today. But it was really important that I came on here and I just gave you my perspective on what this portal energy was. Because I know they get really hyped up and I'm not always a fan of that. But that's how I was pulling in those messages about how those 4 ones are 4 new aces of raw energy being given, and how they will contribute to the 4 of wands, which is the 1111 card in the minor arcana, right? Which is a foundation worth celebrating for. Again, it's that successful recognition of how much you've grown and how much you have learned, right? Giving yourself a little bit of a pat on the back. And then when you surrender, you can rest. And again, if you feel any of those feelings, if you're feeling, oh, manifesting, I'm embodying the energies, this is so great, and then, you know, a week from now you feel pissed off or sad or like you're mourning something, that's normal. We're having a full moon eclipse in Taurus, right? And so allow yourself, because if you feel that stuff coming up to the surface, it is the rubble being moved out of your way, right? And so allow it to come up, greet it as a friend, and then let it pass. Does that make sense? Don't beat yourself up and go, oh, I did it wrong. I manifested wrong. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. The rubble is being cleared away through, again, cleaning out these cups. You might have to cut through some perspectives that need to go. You might have to cry out the bottom of your last cup. You might have to get angry and burn away the last bit of ash that you had on that old fire, right? It's normal. It's okay. Oh, thanks, Evening Time. I'm glad this was helpful for you guys. I'm glad you guys enjoyed this and it was resonating for you. Hi, Charlize. My sweet baby Charlize. Been feeling good today. Got my long hair chopped up. Oh, there you go. That's great. That's great. Cut off all the dead energy. I felt shame come up in low self-worth program from the past. Everything resonates. That's super normal. But again, you can speak to your emotions. When you feel shame, speak to it. When you feel lonely, speak to it, right? Talk to it. Those are aspects of your shadow too that want to come up and want to ascend. You know what I mean? They want to heal too. You were doing that, yeah. You're amazing. I think you're also amazing. And I've been talking a lot on the Patreon because I run the worker bee tier, which is like the spiritual development tier, and we do so much stuff over there. So we do I do a lot of work. I run the damn thing, but I've been able to see the progress in the Patreons, and I've been able to see the progress with you guys on YouTube as well. The development, the maturity, the expansion of your abilities. I did the series of meditations in October because the worker bee tier, we do workshops, but then I also do energy work over there as well. And the way that they expanded their Claire abilities, the way they were tapping into their higher selves, the way that they were taking dominance over their energy fields was out of this fucking world. Like, I've never been so proud to be a part of something. And I see so much of that energy over here with you guys on YouTube too. It's a little bit different because the Patreon, we're a smaller group, and we're a little bit more intimate over there, right? And the work is more curtailed because it's a smaller group, but I see the progress in you guys as well. I see it in the development of the readings. If you, like 6-8 months ago, I felt like I kept reading the same story over and over. It was coming out for all the signs all the time, and it's frustrating for me as a reader. You know, I like to play around and explore in the different stories, right? And so getting to see, especially in the last month or so, the progression and the evolutions of your stories that have come out day after day and week after week on these general readings, they're profound. There are these big messages. I think one of the last Aries message that I had done like 2 weeks ago, I sat there and I was like, I don't know why I was the one that got picked to read this, but this is big. It's like you guys are going through big energies, huge transitions. I mean, you should give yourselves more credit because as an observer, as a narrator of your story, it's fucking profound what you're able to do with, and your head isn't popping. Like, you should be really nice to yourself. You should be really proud of yourself. And you should be gentle on yourself when you feel like you want to beat yourself up. And I get it. I get it. Nobody's harder on me than I am. Ain't nobody can tell me anything about myself. Like, I have a Capricorn right now. I am really hard on myself. I'm really self-disciplined with myself. And sometimes I can really beat myself up for not meeting certain goals that I have within certain times. But then there are moments when I have to realize that I am doing a lot. I am doing a really good job in a very difficult environment energetically, and a very difficult environment in the world, right? And in those moments, it's important to have that compassion for yourself, right? If you wouldn't say it to someone else, don't say it to yourself. This came up, I think, in the last Aquarius reading. Stand on top of the world. If someone else was in your shoes, doing what you're doing, going through what you're going through, what would you tell them? Probably that you were proud of them and that they were doing a really good job. And so you should say that to yourself, because I'm proud of you and I can see that you're doing a really good job. I see it in the readings. I see it in your emails. I see it in your videos. I pop around. I see what everyone's doing. I don't always comment, but I see everyone. I see it on the Patreon. It's a beautiful thing. It's messy. It's chaotic. It's painful as all hell. but you're doing a way better job than you realize. You're making way more progress than you realize. And I have never been, and all the difficulties that I go through in my business and in my life and everything, I have never been so proud to do the job that I do. I have never been so inspired by a group of people as I am of you guys. You are a blessing. I am blessed to be able to read for you. You are so special. And so when you look at an 1111 portal and you start feeling all anxious, don't. Because your slate is just being wiped clean and you're being given a fresh set of energy because you deserve it, because you worked for it, because you earned it, and you know it, and I know it, and the divine knows it. And so when you receive new energy or new opportunity, do not shy away from it. Do not feel like you don't deserve it. Do not feel like you can't handle it, because you do deserve it and you can handle it. And it's about damn time. So, I love you guys very much. Never forget how much I love you and how much I appreciate you and how lucky I am to get to do this job and get not just to read, but to read for you. It is an honor, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Now go and enjoy your day. Do something nice for yourself. It's a no bones day. Do something nice for yourself today. And I will see you tomorrow. See you later.